Hey everybody, Artifacts and Big Racks here. Well, I'm getting ready to grab that 50-pound salt block. My loppers here. And I'm going to go down into one of my other hunting spots here. I got two places on my property that I hunt. And then probably an eighth of a mile north of me on the other side of this big spring. But I'm going to give you a shot. I've never shown back half of my property. I don't know all the way to the big trees there. That thing's going to be heavy. But I turned it on to show you something here. You know, who else drives around with piles of hammer stones in the back of their vehicle, right? Look at this one. They've got it completely flattened. I don't even, I've got piles of artifacts. I'm overwhelmed. I really am. I got a married person who owns multiple properties and a great big life, and he's trying to swing all this stuff too. I mean, but look at this one. This I think was shown on video. That's damage from the plow, but it was a really nice one. This one here, it's got work all over it. This one here, same thing. Look at the end of that where they worked a facet on it. Inside my truck too. I mean, look at this. So that's a nice piece. A lot of folks would love to have that in their collection. Look at that big piece of Nelly Gray, real nice knife, and just really nice chipping on it. Look at this. It's a flint hammer stone. Look at that. Look at that. All that pecking. That's what happens to flint when you peck on it. And some of this stuff, I'll clean it up and it won't be nothing, but a lot of it is. But that's how it is when you're a head hunter, artifact guy. You're gonna bring everything that's home that's a maybe, and then you clean it up and you try to check it out, and then you come to a conclusion on if it's a keeper or not. Really nice looking cord. Look at that. I can't see very well. It's very bright. You can see though that it's like staining. Iron's coming out of it, but that's some Flint Ridge. That's awesome stuff right there. Your typical messy work truck. All right, we'll be back at you. See ya. Hey everybody. Well, I'm down here, but just like every year, you have to always do this, come back, as it will grow right back up on you. There's no way I could have got into here. My blind here is right next to these locusts. I put my blind in, or even sometimes I just sit in a chair because I'm well hidden. Pasture to my left, this creek right here below me, and then usually this was like a four-wheeler trail. Well, there's been a couple of neighbors that moved away, and well, this haven't been ridden on this year. Look how it's just, but the only trail here, it's a game trail now. That's it. And up underneath this, I think it's a walnut. Under them low-hanging walnut limbs. You can see that. But there's been deer activity right there, pretty heavy. You can see they're coming down through here. Or I wouldn't have been able to get into this if it wasn't for the game trail. But I'll have to blaze this out a little bit better getting into here, and I'm fixing to go in here and cut this out so I can hunt it, because right now you couldn't do it, and you could not bow hunt this. It just wouldn't work. I've got to get my bow set up ready. Well, time to get to work. See ya. I'm back, everybody. It looks like I'm about ready. So here's one of my shooting lanes right here. You see, you know, right there. Nice clear lane. And I got that game trail / old ATV trail right here covered. And there was 2 game trails here coming onto my property. One of them winds off and goes up towards this service pole. And the other one, I mean, if I was looking around here, I saw a couple different piles of deer poo in here. But yeah, so they started using my trail to come into my spot here. Missed one. I've already went over this twice, and even at that, you know, you'll see some imperfections, things you might have missed, per se, like this. One day, you know, it could be windy, that thing might swing around, you make your shot, you actually hit that, throw off your shot, you don't get your deer. Bad day. Bad day. But to put in, I'd say about 9 years ago, I had a salt block back here, but got this one out. It'll help them also in the winter months when they need even more minerals. So there you go. They come off of this, you know, like pasture right here. They come off. I've seen them come down this direction, basically from my dig site on clear down, run the length of me and my neighbor's property, and then cut in. And my neighbor, he's a super guy. He you know, he's a kind of a neighbor that you do want, one that stays to himself. It doesn't really cause any problems. No thievery, doesn't have trash, you know, around his place. Good dude. But, and he doesn't really hunt, and he doesn't mind, you know, if I do. So I don't really hunt on it. He doesn't have anything really to provide, but, you know, I've got better hunting than he does. But nonetheless, you know, he's a really good guy. So there's no trouble there. You know, he doesn't really mind. Some people, even though if you're hunting on your own property, if they have a bone to pick with you, or if they're an animal rights individual, I mean, sometimes they'll go to extreme or absurd lengths to, you know, to cause you trouble. They don't realize, you know, how bad that makes them look. I can respect everybody's opinion, but it just seems like some people can't respect others. But he's a good fella, sure is. Good guy, good neighbor. So we'll head on out of here. This place is, boy, if you were to come into here and try to hunt this like some fool, look at how they got, it's dry as a popcorn fart. I know that's a bad term, but look at that, how dry that is. And you can see how much, you know, all them indentations, that's all deer activity all through here. They come in through here. You know, I've got crab apples and locusts. So this provides, I mean, can you imagine walking here in the darkness and have one of them run into your eyeball or something? And these aren't honey locusts. Down towards Warsaw and that area, maybe into Walhonding River Valley as well, and the Mohawk Creek areas, all those water, you know, watered up bottom lands, it's honey locusts. And you know, you see how these are. I mean, these are wicked, but the honey locusts, oh, they're 3 inches long. I've had them go right through the sole of a good boot up into my feet. You want to talk about some pain, pull one of them out of there, it's buried in you about 2 inches deep, almost poking through the other side of your foot. Yeah, I've had it happen a couple times in the same day, arrowhead hunting. It was brutal, but it paid off. I stayed with it. It's not like I run out of there like some kind of sissy. I ended up finding a major quarry site that I never even went to this year. I never even went back. And an incredible amount of blue and white upper Mercer is pouring out of a mountainside. And there's trenching all along the sides of this, you know, horizontally along the mountain face or the hill face, horizontally with the creek entrenchments. Well, that's how they would core that flint out of these hillsides. It was easy for them to do it like that. And there's just flint everywhere. So I'll be going back to that here as soon as, probably February when deer season's done. Because I know a guy that bow hunts that and muzzleloader hunts it, and he wouldn't be very happy with me if I went in there causing trouble. So, well, I'm on this game trail here. I need to get this cleared out a little bit. I just want to let you in on all that and let you know how that went. So I'm ready to go on my site. Now I just got to get this trail blazed a little better, and I'll be ready. All right, everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll be seeing you. Hey, everybody, I'm back here. Well, I just blazed myself a trail in here. Me and the family and the boys here, we call this the hog farm spot. And usually, see, there's 2 springs here set up, 2 runs of it. It's probably the same body of water under our feet, but the one that never goes dry or freezes, it's dried up. But the one that's over here, right here beside where I sit on a ground blind, it's got flowing water. And I found artifacts in this, but you can't really do anything with it until about February. Well, you probably get down here in January, I guess. But you have to wait till winter or very early spring. It's just so growed up, and you know, mosquitoes get real bad down in here. But as you can see, I've killed many a deer out of this stand here. Many a good harvest. You can see there's beans there, and clear up the top there's probably alfalfa or hay field, and then another field of beans. And what happens is these deer, they cross the road down here about 100 yards, and they come up this waterway every time. That's how they do it, this little dip. You can see right there, this waterway, and they come down through there when they cross the road. But if they come out of the crops up this way, there's corn up here, so this is going to be really good this year, real good. There's an abandoned 1800s farmhouse right here, and I've had them run right through that area into here when there's crops on the other side. And it's also, all this is Indian. I mean, I've found, well, right here, about 10 yards in front of me, my son found a bifurcated flint ridge, translucent point, and right there I found a beautiful white flint ridge Ashtabula point, probably 10 years ago. But yes, this is a very good spot. But when the crops are up on here, they'll come right down. They'll come right down past that barn, and then come right down this edge. Sometimes they'll cut in, because there's a deer trail up above me. They'll cut in down here, and I'll get my shots back into the woods. But oh yeah, I've got me quite a few of them, and one of them ran clear over here to my neighbor's house, and he's a salty old naval guy. You know, he's a veteran, and he got a kick out of that. He saw that deer run right out in front of his house, and his wife was sitting there, and he watched it stumble around and plop over. And I guess he looked over at his wife and said, well, it looks like somebody got lucky. But he's a real good, solid guy. I got some good neighbors. So there you go, everybody. Yep, I got running water right here, and that's just perfect. I just can't tell you how important water will become in the scenario for this year's archery early in the season. It is so dry. If this continues, this is a premium place for evening and morning hunting. They'll come in here and they can get water, and they can feed. So I'm gonna get off of here, and I need to work on the blind itself. As you can see, it's very simple. You know, right up against another locust. But you wouldn't, you know, both my sons, they've gotten deer out of this spot. I mean, this spot produces. and there's not a lot of big trees right here except into the woods, and well, you can't cover the field in archery from inside this woods. The larger trees are just too far away. You just won't get good consistent shots. So you hunt off the ground, and if you conceal yourself, be still, and be diligent about scent elimination, which, I mean, I shave my head down to a small mohawk. No beard. The beard goes off. Barely any mustache. Yeah, I get pretty crazy. Cut out onions. I love to eat onions. Cut out the garlic. I start to augment my diet. Yeah, I go through a lot in the process. And then also every time before I go, I'll usually take a shower with de-scenting soap. So I'm funny about that stuff. But I'm the kind of guy that can get so close I can reach out and grab him with my hand. And I don't use trail cams. I do not use trail cams. I do not use them. Do not. I have some pictures of my big monster on trail cams. Those are sent to me by other hunters that were trying to get that deer and heard that I got it and sent me them pictures. I do not use trail cams. I never have, and I never will. I got one time as a gift, and I re-gift it to my son, and he uses it. But this old boy right here, I don't need that. I read deer sign extremely well. Extremely well. And I know the nature of the animal. I mean, very intimate nature. Can't wait. Alright, everybody. I'm going to let you go. For those watching, hey man, thanks. Thanks. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Deer season's right around the corner, so be involving ourselves in some nice archery hunts. Well, be back at you. See ya.